I want to move to my favorite song on the entire album of Sob Rock, which is Wild Blue. And I want to know everything there is to know about it. Was this the bass that was used?
No, this was not the Wild Blue bass.
Maybe we'll just do a quick switch to the real one, if you don't mind.
I used my John Hurley Fender Custom Shop signature bass in Charcoal Frost. I think it's the first time I actually recorded with John and actually used this bass, because I used it a ton live, but I always was using my vintage 61 when I would record a flat wound bass. But because I invested, you got to invest in your instrument. You got to spend some time.
Right.
And my tech said, you know, leave the old one at home, bring this one, like play it, like break it in. And once I started doing that, I started favoring this one over the 61.
Whoa.
And then when we were gathered together to do Sob Rock, it was like, oh, I'd used it live. It took care of the 61 parts. Now it's going to get its, you know, maiden voyage of getting to be put into digital, you know, digital wax and live forever in infamy.
And so on this song, you used this bass. Were you also using B15 on this?
Yeah, this was, I believe that this was somewhere in the middle of the Sob Rock time. So it wasn't the beginning, wasn't the end. Like Last Train Home was kind of at the end. This was somewhere in the middle. We were just enjoying the process. There was no, you know, you don't have any of the startup achiness, or, you know, you're not getting the dust off anything, but you're not at the end. You're just kind of in the sweet spot. And at this point, it was me, Aaron, Jeff Babco, and John. So Jeff Babco's playing keys, and he was going on Rhodes. And John had kind of set this up like, I don't know, maybe we mentioned Dire Straits. Like it just, and maybe that's my own imagination with the chord progression.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's even that ride thing. It's like when you come out of the gate and you're just kind of on the ride, it always makes me feel like that mid 80s, you know, Dire Straits stuff. Like it's coasting the whole way. The band's percolating, the mellowness of the road. So we're just having fun. And again, the arrangement changed as we went on. Like there's a section at the end where that B section part, you know, doubles up. We didn't discover that until maybe the second or third take, but it's such a simple chord progression. We were able to go, let's just set sail and John will guide us through like, how do we want to transition to the B section? How long does the solo want to be? All that stuff sort of comes together as it's being played by the dudes in the room.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful bass part, though. I think the interesting thing, I mean, obviously hearing it's one thing, but watching you do it, you have such an interesting way to create movement. You know, even if it's using the same notes, it's like, where are you playing them on the neck? And like, kind of, how do you get into them? How do you transition into them? These things all create this feel that's like uniquely Sean Hurley. And I really appreciate that. I
appreciate that you appreciate it, because this is such subtle stuff, but it's what I live and die with every day. Like, did I play the F here? Did I play the F here? And they make a difference. It's not going to stop the world if I don't do the right thing in the moment. But every time I play, I'm thinking in those terms. And it's funny when someone like you mentions that you're also noticing I've made a choice that affects the greater, you know, the tone of the group, the tone, you know, everything we're doing as a unit tends to. On that note, so later in the song, because I played with Babco a bunch, we would do gigs, especially around the tail end, like getting into COVID and coming out of COVID, we would play and it would just be more instrumental or grooving. So sometimes we do things to like, hey, only you're going to notice this. And I did a little octave thing, which he then answers me with a little octave on the Rhodes. But I was doing it because every once in a while in a session, I don't do slap and pop. I don't do things that are really like, hey, look at me. And when I do it, it's kind of like, this one's for you. And I did it. And it was actually, it fit the song, but it's not something I would have typically done. And I saved it for the fade out. But you can hear the keyboard player answer me to like, I was listening to you. You know, it's something you would only get live. Like you wouldn't have done it in an overdub world. But I was like, I know he's listening. I'll give him a little.
And so this was all live in the room. John was playing.
I don't know if it's the exact solo. He definitely did a bulk of it on the floor with us. But it was this again. I think it was the sweet spot of the time we're doing it in the sessions, but also the time of night. It's like probably 8, 9 p.m. We're like, if we get it, we're going to get the take. We'll be done for the night. And we're that nighttime vibe post dinner where everyone's really feeling loose.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure because if you miss it, you can get it the next day.
Yeah.
But it's certain songs, like they're open to jamming. It's like we didn't know how long it was going to go. We knew we were going to fade out. So like if we catch a wave, the fade out might be extended even longer, which I think we did. It's like we were just having fun. Again, simple tune with 2 sections. So it's all what you do within those sections and how it dynamically grows just a little bit.
It's interesting how he changes the solo too. Like, I don't know if that's something that was part of the thing. Because the first one is very Mark Knopfler,
right?
The second one is very John Mayer,
absolutely, right. He let it rip. I mean, this is stuff I don't even think he verbalized it, but he's got all the amps set up. You know, I think soloists get this chance to go, hey, I can start here knowing that, you know, he wasn't going to do the reverse. He wouldn't have done the Mayer in the middle and the Knopfler at the end. It's like, that's the perfect transition to like, that's how you do it. That's how you put your stamp on, you know, some music that you're kind of inhabiting and then claiming as your own at the same time.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I'd love to hear you play a little bit of it.
I will do it. Simple lines intertwined, but I think that's what it's all about.